Welcome to the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Insightful and witty commentary, probing interviews, and detours from the beaten path.
Welcome to Kansas City Profiles presented by Easton Roofing, and today we have the remarkable story of Harris Park, and through the eyes of the man who has developed this project over decades. His name is Chris Harris. He was a college athlete who had interest in this from way back. He grew up in Kansas City in the Ivanhoe district, a district that he has had tremendous love for throughout his entire life. That's where he grew up. That's where he lived. The area had gone into some disrepair, and all along the way, Chris Harris had a dream of making a park and making a little golf course. And now that has come to fruition as he's got a 4-hole pitch and putt golf course right in the heart of the city, an incredible green space. But Harris Park also has a basketball court, a playground, and beds of blooming tulips. The development of the course unfolded over several years. He tore down his own home in the middle of the block, got a job at a local golf course so he could learn the ropes, and eventually he gained the support of the PGA. He has been a fundraiser. He has been an advocate for this project, and it's a pleasure to tell this story of an incredible green space in the heart of the city, our city, Kansas City, as we speak with Chris Harris on Kansas City Profiles, presented by Easton Roofing.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
I'm here with Joe Spiker, owner of Easton Roofing, and boy, we had to negotiate a million things in 2020, but Easton Roofing navigated them all. As 2021 rolls out, what should we expect this coming storm season?
Well, Danny, it'll be the same thing as it is every year. You know, the storms come, and you've got the guys out knocking on doors offering quote-unquote free inspections. Be wary as a homeowner. If somebody's knocking on your door, they probably need the work, and if they need the work that bad, they may be willing to do something untoward to get it. So if somebody knocks on your door, says they want to give you a free inspection, just tell them have a great day and give us a call. We'll come out for free and give you a good, honest opinion as to whether or not you need to do anything at all with your roof.
And what's the best way to get in touch with Easton Roofing?
You can always find us online at eastonroofing.com or give us a call at 913-257-5426.
Easton Roofing. Integrity matters. We're here with Michael Barber, the CEO and founder of Microlight Corporation of America, the world leaders in laser therapy. And Michael, tell us a little bit about your product.
Our device is using a particular wavelength and power to reduce pain and swelling. My background is surgical lasers, but I've been involved with this particular device now for about the last 20 years, actually.
And I know that it works because I've had it used on me as well. And tell us about the relationship you have with your company in Canaway.
It's what I call a strategic business relationship in that Canaway, the leader in the field of the cannabinoid systems and CBD oil, but our device used in conjunction with Canaway CBD oil gives a better pain relief outcome for the patient.
And if you want to get that pain relief outcome like I did, you can reach their local representative, Sherry McCants, at 515-208-6312. That's 515-208-6312.
Right now, it's more important than ever to support local businesses, and 23rd Street Brewery in Lawrence is open and ready to take care of you. Make 23rd Street Brewery part of your KU game day experience, whether you watch the game there or grab curbside pickup for your tailgates or watch parties.
But not just game days, 23rd Street Brewery is great any day of the week, and when the weather's nice, you can take advantage of their heaters on the patio. 23rd Street Brewery is open daily from 11:30 to 9 for dine-in, carry-out, curbside pickup, and can even help with your catering needs.
So support local and visit a Lawrence favorite, 23rd Street Brewery.
Most of us have experienced auto accidents, and it's no fun. And even less fun is trying to work on the insurance aspects afterwards and getting full value after an auto accident. I'm here with David Cowan from WreckExpert.com. And David, you have an unusual and important niche for people after an auto accident.
We have a passion to teach car wreck clients what they deserve. Getting your car repaired only fixes the damage and the paint. Getting paid for your car's loss in value is called diminished value. Chances are you've never heard of this before because most people aren't looking out for you. We help people collect thousands to tens of thousands of dollars for their car's loss in value after the wreck.
And if somebody wants to come to you for that, what's the original assessment cost them?
We offer a free review of any insurance claim to see how we can help.
You can't beat that. Great expertise and assistance in getting full value after an auto accident. From David Cowan, visit WreckExpert.com and learn more. If you'd like to join these and other great sponsors and market your business to a growing and engaged audience, contact us at Danny@DannyKlinkscale.com. Look forward to hearing from you. Chris, we're going to talk a lot about the Ivanhoe District neighborhood, and that's where it all began for you, too, as you and your family were, I believe, the first black family to move into that particular neighborhood. Talk about your first memories of growing up there.
You know, for me, my parents moved in here, I believe, in the early 60s, mid-60s. For me, just coming here in 68, as a little kid, I don't remember too much in those days, but after I grew up a little bit, I can just remember living in a blighted area with abandoned houses. People used to come dump mattresses and stoves and refrigerator, old cars. I mean, it was just a really, really blighted area. And, I didn't know anything else until I actually started going to school. When I started going to school, that's when I realized that at a very early age that something was wrong with the neighborhood, but I really just didn't know what it was. And then, fast forward some years, I go to college, play a little college basketball, and I realized what was wrong with the neighborhood, and I realized that it needed to be cleaned up. So my father had been purchasing land for years as I was a kid. I've been cutting his grass since I was 13. I let my father know that I wanted to teach the basics of life through sports, and he was all for it. And I went and found out where the rest of the land was, went and purchased it, and I just literally started cleaning up.
Let's go back a little bit and talk a little bit about you. And growing up, you eventually would play some college basketball. What was your interest in sports? Did you play all of them?
Yeah, my interest in sports was basketball, and I learned so much. I just took the game of basketball and the basic skills of basketball from Penn Valley, which I played 2 years at Penn Valley and won the national championship there in 1996, and left there and went to Cardinal Street University in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And after I finished that stint, I did a little stint in semi-pro basketball and did more coaching. And then I started coaching with Kansas City Knights. And at the time, Kevin Pritchard was the head coach. And I was just, I would say, a tag-along, but I was able to be involved. And I started seeing deja vu with the championship that I won in 96 and the championship that they were headed towards in 2001, which I was a small part of. And it was like I started seeing it over and over and over. And I was like, we're going to win another championship, because it just seemed like it was the same formula and the same things was happening over and over. And we won another championship in 2001. I took that experience and I used that to move out into the community. And what I've seen within championships, the best player has to help the rest of the players become better. And if you make everyone around you better, you're headed into that championship zone. And I just took that same thing that I learned from those two championships. One I was able to lead, and one I was able to take the ride with, but it was the exact same formula. So I felt like if I took that same formula and take care of the people in the neighborhood, we can lead to a championship. And that's how I got inspiration to do what I was doing. I had already had the drive and the determination of what I wanted to do, but that's how I learned to do what I wanted to do.
It's a pretty daunting thing, and I want to go back again a little bit. You mentioned the blighted area and not realizing what it was like. And how do you feel like, you sound like obviously a very upbeat person who has taken on an incredible thing that's taken a long, long time to bring to fruition. How did you stay positive maybe through the times when you were growing up in a very difficult area, even if maybe you just didn't realize that was just what you experienced?
That was just what I experienced. I didn't even know it was a hard time. I had became accustomed to blighted areas. That was normal for me, and that's just what it was. So I didn't even have the education to know that I was living in bad times or hard times to go through it. But through my struggles, I would say in my journey, I always knew I have to go back to basketball. If I took that winning shot and I made it. I got up the next morning, I fixed me something to eat, and I went back to practice. If I took that winning shot and I missed it, I got up the next morning and I fixed me something to eat, and I went to practice. So I learned at a very young age through basketball that, hey, whether you make it or miss it, life is going to go on. So when I came out here in this community, I didn't have a problem taking that shot because I knew I was going to be okay whether I make it or miss it. And that's just the mindset that I had. And it was almost like I just didn't care about anything. I'm going to go to practice. I'm going to give you everything that I have, and I'm going to give you the best that I can possibly give you. And whatever comes out of that, that's what it's going to be. And that's how I was able to continue these last 29 years.
It takes money to do this type of thing. Obviously, you have to work and you have to have a full-time job, and you have had a career at the Truman Medical Center. Is that what you did right from the start after college, or what career path did you take?
Yeah, right. Well, right after college, I was doing that semi-pro basketball and coaching, and then after I finished that is when I took the career path to Truman. But when I was with Truman, a lot of people don't know I was working at Truman in the evenings, and I was teaching gym class at Horizon Academy over in Mission, and I also was going full-time at UMKC plus running the park. So I always had my hands full. I would always keep a part-time job for the park and keep a full-time job for me. And I just made it happen with what I had, along with people wanting to donate and help out. But there was times where I didn't have any budget or anything, but all I really needed was a lawnmower with some sharpened blades and some grass and some gas, because we keep our overhead very low, and we still do the exact same thing. So as of right now today, Harris Park can survive with a good lawnmower, some sharpened blades, and some grass, because we will continue to do the work. I will continue to do the work to make this thing happen. So when you have a low overhead, you can go a long way. And as of today in 2021, I'm proud to say my personal bills are $1,300 a month. And I have always kept my personal bills low so I can also help with the park as well. So I just don't need much to make it, and to just keep striving and striving and striving. In all aspects of life, I keep my overhead low.
What was the very outset of deciding that you were going to create a park out of, well, basically nothing? I know in several of the stories I've read, you say that one of the things about inner city areas that are blighted or whatever, there's plenty of land because there's, abandoned buildings and things like that. What was the very first, at the very outset, where did you decide to pick out the piece of land that would become Harris Park?
Well, I didn't pick it out. My father picked it out. Okay. So here on 40th and Wayne, when I was growing up, my father was buying land piece by piece. And as we were here, I was just getting accustomed to it, and I watched my father buy the land. So at 24, I just went and touched base with Land Bank, and it was another one. I can't think of the name. It was Land Bank and Land Trust, I believe. And I just started doing the research and found out that they had ownership of all this land. And, I was buying land from $100, $25 to $300. And back then, you can buy land really, really cheap over here. But now it's probably gone up to about $5,000 a lot.
Well, that shows, obviously, much of that is through your efforts. When you first started out, did you always have the thought, it seems like it in seeing some of the quotes, that a golf course was sort of the thing that you were striving for eventually, to create a even more beautiful green space, or an area that is, in a sport that is seen as, impossible for inner city people to get involved with?
Yes, I always wanted golf. I always wanted golf because what I thought that if you were able to get a beautiful golf course in this neighborhood and maintain it, it has to change things just because of the beautification. But I honestly can tell you, I didn't know that the people in the world of golf would come and support as much as they did. It has been outstanding support from individuals that love the game of golf, Caucasians that love the game of golf from all walks, all ages are helping me help me raise the funds to get this done. And as we speak today, Frank Kurt just left, coming over, checking on the building because we're getting to build a pro shop, which we finally got our permits for, and we're going to pay the pour the concrete tomorrow for the building. Now we're going to have running water and restrooms. You know, we've been going through this pandemic, and we've been using porta potties, and we're ready to step it up a little bit here in the neighborhood.
When did you obviously created the park itself and a basketball court at first and park benches and things like that and a nice green space? When did you actually get to the point where you said and a miniature golf was there as well? When did you get to the point where you this dream of actually starting out, and I think you were at first going to just do the whole thing by yourself, but it developed in a different direction eventually. But when did you get to the point where you felt like, right now, either through the funding or the support, I can actually do this?
You know, it was one day I was just saying I wanted to just build one green, and I was going to build it myself. So I took a job at Mission Hills Golf Course to see exactly how to do those things. And when I took that job, it was funny. I believe it was the 11th hole flooded. And Mission Hills had to replace the 11th hole, and they had to start all over and do it. And I seen them hauling all this sand in, and I seen them how they did. So I was like, man. So I started making a green. While I was working there, I was doing exactly what they were doing. So I was building one green myself. And then the Kansas City Star got a whiff of what I was doing. They came over and looked at it, and I was actually doing pretty good. Even though I was doing exactly what they were doing, I was doing it pretty good. Kansas City Star got a whiff of it, and once they wrote a story about it, then Mission Hills got a whiff of it, and then Mission Hills introduced me to Frank Kurt, and Frank Kurt started introducing me to all his friends throughout the city. And that's how we raised the funds to get here where we are today.
And I believe that was in 2016 when they started the first story. They've done, I think, 4 or 5 stories since then regarding your particular enterprise. When did you get to come to the decision that you were going to, well, what you've created is 4 greens, and you can kind of play an 18-hole rotation with different tee boxes and things like that. And your tees and greens eventually have come to they're artificial turf, are they not?
Yes, and come to that agreement because as I watched how much at Mission Hills, how much they had to water their greens, I was like, there's no way in the world I could pay that water bill. So again, we have to go back to something that was cost efficient, that we can get our hands around and that we can handle.
What was the direction you were pointed in as far as what were the best things to create a good artificial turf, tees and greens, and what kind of assistance did you get? I know the PGA came in eventually. Their first tee program is one that's very ambitious as well. You've got a nice, beautiful looking piece of property, and people can check out the social media we did with that and see. But what was where was the dream shifting from maybe one green that you were going to build to 4 holes, as it were, that you could turn into a nice little pitch and putt rotation?
Absolutely. Well, we got to talking about the one green that, I was spending my little money on. They came in and tore all that down. So, but we talked to this gentleman by the name of Todd Clark, and me and Todd Clark, he just started picking my brain. And we sit down and we brainstorm. And Todd took what I had in my heart and my mind and put it on paper. And then we, of course, went and found a budget. And that's just how that happened. And then all of a sudden, the PGA called. And the PGA called and was talking to Brad Demo. And Brad Demo told me that he would like to support this thing and get behind it with the Midwest PGA. And here I am sitting here on 40th and Wayne getting a phone call from Midwest PGA, and I thought it was a trick. I'm like, there's no way the PGA, there's no way the PGA is calling me while I'm sitting right here on 40th and Wayne. So I met with Brad, and we got to talking, and Brad introduced me to some people over at Van Wall John Deere. And Van Wall John Deere came in, and they gave me all the lawnmower equipment that I needed. And they also gave me $50,000 in cash so that we could do the greens. And that's how we were able to get the greens done, because of Van Wall John Deere coming in and helping us out. So we just took it in every connection that we had and tried to use the best way that we possibly can to get the best bang out of everything.
Do you have a family?
Yes.
Tell me about your family a little bit.
You know, I have a son and a daughter. My daughter is a social worker. She has played a little semi-pro basketball, so she kind of followed in my steps. My son still comes over here, helps me cut the grass and keep the greens every now and then, but he has chosen to go a different route. Right. He's working every day, working for the city on the trash truck, but he still comes and helps me out a little bit. My father, he just left. He comes over every single day between 12:30 and 1. And I think he's just proud as all outdoors, and I'm proud. I know when he comes over at 12, I try to make sure I'm here between 12:30 and 1 because I know he's coming, and just get to spend that time with him. My mother is still here, so both my parents are still here to get to see us trying to clean up their old neighborhood, and I think they're very proud and happy, and I'm just pleased to see them get to see this, as well as my father coming by every day. And I just want to add with that, but when he comes up on the block, I still feel like that 5-year-old kid, and I love it.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
The bitter cold snap in February was just another intense reminder of how important it is to have a quality heating and cooling company on your side. That's why you need to know about my friends at Dillon's Heating and Cooling. Jeff Dillon and his top quality staff provide honest, affordable, and reliable service all year long. Their number one priority is taking care of the customer and focus on being genuine, always following through and standing behind what they say and do. If you need HVAC or AC repair, it's important you get help from a team of professionals. Dillon's Heating and Cooling's team can walk you through a range of products, the advantages of heating and cooling systems, and ultimately help you find the best HVAC system for you. They're always glad to answer your questions and set up an appointment for an installation consultation. Whether you're looking to upgrade to a newer model of your current system or need one installed in a new home, give my friends at Dillon's Heating and Cooling a call today at 913-214-0529. That's 913-214-0529, or visit dillonsheatingandcooling.com to answer all of your questions. Dillon's Heating and Cooling. Their slogan is their goal, always treating you like family. I'm here with David Schmidt from Private Capital. And David, tell us more about your outstanding firm.
Thanks, Danny. Here at Private Capital, we focus on return on asset. In today's world, it is survival of the fittest. We look at things from all angles and try to figure out what works best for you. The changes we will see this next year on assets will be monumental. The key to success is knowledge. Know where you want to go, and we'll be here along the way. To find out more, give us a call at 816-221-7775.
David Schmidt from Private Capital with the best service for you. Cinematic Visions has been an affordable solution for professional media production in Kansas City since 2003, offering award-winning video production and creation, as well as a wide array of digital and social media management services. From planning, scripting, filming, editing, and post-production to delivering your product to a watching world, Cinematic Visions will provide professional and affordable services for you and your business with the necessary return on investment to make it all worthwhile. Cinematic Visions' goal is to unlock the power of storytelling through video and a strong online presence for your company. Beyond the numbers, they want to inspire and evoke your clients to feel and act. Let my friends at Cinematic Visions embed your brand where it belongs, in your customers' minds. You can find them online at cinematicvisions.com or with a quick phone call at 816-600-6300. We're here once again with Dr. Brad Woodall from Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture. Springtime, good weather's finally here. People want to stay active, and it's your job to make sure that they can stay active, be and be healthy.
Danny, we see a lot of not just weekend warriors, but people that every day are having that want to get back to activity. Whether you're starting with walking, jogging, or maybe that first 5K of the year, we want to help you out. We specialize in taking care of all ages, from kids all the way to grandmas and grandpas, but absolutely specialize in getting you back to full function and keeping you in great shape.
So in short, how do we go about doing that?
The first thing is to schedule a consultation with one of our doctors and therapists so we can see how you move and how you're supposed to move. Based on our assessment, we can put together a short treatment plan and a set of goals to help you both feel better, function better, and most importantly, stay better for this year and many years to come.
Learn more at asfca.com/Danny. That's asfca.com/Danny.
If you'd like to join these and other great sponsors and market your business to a growing and engaged audience, contact us at danny@dannyclinkscale.com. Look forward to hearing from you.
Chris Harris is our guest. He has developed Harris Park, which includes a 4-green golf complex that you can pitch and putt your way around 18 holes, and it's a lot of fun. Everything's free. I'll get to that in a little bit, but you actually lived on this property at one point, and you tore your own house down at one point. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was. It was my parents, the house they bought when they came here. And whenever you visit, you'll see a little small tree right in the middle of a golf course. It's a little bush right in the middle of a golf course. My parents planted that tree. That was our front yard. So I'm going to put a little memento up there to let them know the history of why this tree is sitting right in the middle of the golf course. I just didn't have the heart to tear that down. But, it was just time. I talked to my mom. I talked to my dad. And they said that they think it was the best thing to do and that they felt like I was making the right decision. And once I get their blessing, there's no more looking back. There's no looking back from there. And then it's so amazing of what a golf course have done within this neighborhood. With me and my father sit down and talk. We talked about what the golf course can bring and what the house would bring. The house would bring us and our personal family all our memories that we have, but the golf course can open doors for so many other families. And when I say open doors, building golf courses, taking care of greens, just building your logos and stuff for golf courses. It's just so many different kids playing golf. So I never had an idea that building a golf course as an African-American in the neighborhood will strike other people to want to build golf courses. So look at all the doors that we have opened. Maybe these kids when they get up in the morning and they come outside and they around the golf course. They can walk up on the golf course. They get familiar with golf course. They're familiar with beautiful green space. And look at all the ideas maybe sparked from that, from our kids, from our adults. It's just a beautiful thing. So it was an easy task for me to make that decision to tear down the childhood home.
All along the way on this process, there had to be some people who told you were a little bit crazy to try this.
And from the beginning, all my friends told me that it's not possible to build a park. The neighborhood was too bad. And after several years, all the loved ones, everyone that was close to me, except my immediate family, I had 100 people telling me I was doing the wrong thing, and I was standing over here in this island by myself. So it was a point in time where I was like, well, maybe all 100 of these people can't be wrong, and I'm standing over here by myself. But I just kept the journey. I pushed them aside, and I kind of secluded myself at a point because I didn't want to hear that you couldn't make it, because those people were starting to, I would say, get in my head and get in my soul. So I had to get away from those people to keep this journey, and those people were wrong. And I would like to tell any adult, any kid, any person, if you have something close and dear to your heart, keep the path. Keep the path, because other people can't see what you see. And they'll never be able to see what you see. So that's why we got a Facebook. If somebody would have told you Facebook would be one of the biggest companies in the world, they probably was told they were crazy. But look at them. So as I look at it, I feel like that Harris Park can be recreated in every urban United States, every urban neighborhood in the United States across the world, and it can make a difference on every level. So that's the mindset that I have, and that's the mindset that I will have from here on out.
I know in reading the most recent stories that it already is having an impact, that property values in the area, in the neighborhood are going up. There's still a lot of work to do, obviously, but it is making an impact, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a house up on 39th and Wayne just sold for $165,000, and we're talking just last week. So the impact is really heavy. You know, that's unheard of in this neighborhood. And they're building houses all around us. The people are buying the older houses and rehabbing them and starting it all over. So as of right now, I can take you about to 20 different houses that are being built and rehabbed all around us within the 3 or 4 block radius.
By the way, your website is harrissportskc.org, and people can donate there as well. What is the process now? You've got the golf course open. People are coming by. As I mentioned, that you have clubs for them, and they can play for free. What's the next step? Where are you headed?
Next step is getting this building done. Which we're doing that now. And having people to check in when they come in so we can start following and tracking our numbers with our age groups and things, and just continuing to have people here doing fundraisers for different organizations. Let them use the golf course to do fundraisers to help enhance their nonprofit. Even though we are a nonprofit, we still want to open our doors to help other nonprofits as well. And we're just going to keep building in this neighborhood, keep supplying jobs for the kids and the adults in the neighborhood, and continue to grow to educate our community, educate the people outside of our community, and continue having nice things.
Do you have any sort of do other people? You mentioned that you think this can be replicated in other cities. Have people come to you, or have you other communities have because maybe they'll see online that this Kansas City Star story, and somebody in Detroit or Birmingham or whatever reaches out to you? Have you had any of that happen?
Yeah, I have people from all over talking to me, trying to start this thing. But what really impressed me, and I don't know if they got this idea from us or not, but there's a one-hole golf course, a one-hole green in Martin City, and they have reproduced the 13th hole at Augusta. So I think the 13th hole at Augusta is probably one of the famous holes. So they literally made that in Martin City. So I'm starting to see these things pop up. They just got theirs done last year. I'm starting to see these things pop up throughout the area, and it's just been amazing to see that happen. So I just want to grow the game. I just want to grow the game of golf and grow our communities around the game of golf and just keep that happening, because there's just so many doors opening. When I was a kid, didn't have that opportunity. Now these kids in this neighborhood have this opportunity. Now I see one going up in Martin City, and then they even have a golf course, a miniature golf course at Nelson Art Gallery now. They opened one as well. So as you see, when we started this, now I'm starting to see golf pop up everywhere. So I don't know if I had any part of them or inspiration on them doing those things, but I know I was first around here, and now they're popping up.
You've been around this a long time. You had this dream. You said you sort of got away from the game. Tell me a little about your own golf game. I'm averaging on this 3-par. I'm averaging 4 to 5 shots. On a good day, I'm hitting 2 or 3, but I would say my average is 4 to 5 shots on a 3-par, and I'm not that good. But on my good days, when I'm hitting 2 to 3 shots and getting my pars in, the 3 pars in, I talk a lot. Tell me about the people who come around and how that has grown.
I'm meeting a lot of people. they'll come and they'll play the game, and we're showing them how. What's happening is I'm showing them how we play this course because it's a little different. We'll say we got the first 3 tee boxes go to the first green, the second 3 go to the second green, and of course the third go there, and we have to show them how to do the rotation. And when we get the regulars coming, by me not being able to be here every day, I still have to work a little bit. I'm asking the people to come to explain the rules to the new people that come. So once, we can get this, we can work together and keep this rotation going. It's just working great because they'll come out and I'll see them giving the people the rules, the new people the rules. And it's like everybody is working to make sure that this community thrives and that this golf course is ran the right way.
The website is harrissportskc.org. That's harrissportskc.org. This is a remarkable thing that you've done. You must have a great. Obviously, you're not complete. You're still building, but now you actually do have a beautiful piece of property in the inner city in the neighborhood that you grow up in. This must be a tremendous sense of self-satisfaction for you.
Absolutely. But it's funny. We did this in three phases, and now that we're on the last phase of building this building, I truly feel like that things are just now beginning. It's been 29 years of doing this, but now that I've finished with the golf course and getting the building up, it feels like everything has started completely over, and this is the beginning. So we're still learning, and we're still being innovative and keeping our property up, keeping our overhead low, and get ready to start our new journey. So once this building go up, it's going to be a whole new journey.
And what do you think that journey might be?
You know what? Having people to understand that the inner city is just not that bad. Crossing over Truce on the east side of Truce has always been that dividing line. Now we got people that's coming over here that would never come over here. And they're bringing their kids, and they're coming out to play the game of golf. Then they're venturing over to let their kids play on the playground. Then they're out playing basketball. Now they're buying houses. So we're breaking down those barriers. And we'll continue to break down those barriers with golf because even with African-American friends, when they come over, by the golf course being so beautiful and green, they're thinking it's private. And I'm having a hard time telling everybody that the golf course is public, it's open to the public. But by people thinking, golf has been private for so long, it's hard for them to fathom that they can come play in a beautiful green space. It's free and it's open to the public. So there's another barrier that we're breaking. So it just constantly keep breaking those barriers to show people in the neighborhood, outside of the neighborhood, that we're going to take care of our neighborhood, our property value, our houses, and we continue to grow. And we can build golf courses, and we can play the game of golf.
This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like Easton Roofing, the presenting sponsor of Kansas City Profiles at the Danny Klingscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. We hope you enjoyed the latest Danny Klingscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Come back soon for something fresh and new.